through storms, unshaken, unbowed. Through trials and verdicts, still standing proud. A titan in the tempest, against the raging crowd. He's got a vision for the future, gonna shout it loud. Changing the wind, it's coming fast. A new foundation built to last. Cryptocurrency's the key, make the big switch. Power to the people, time to teach the rich. Legal battles can't hold him, he's moving on. With plans so bold, from dusk till dawn. He's rewriting the rules, a new dawn's day. From the hands of the few to the people's way. Say goodbye to all chains, embrace the new. A financial revolution, fair and true. For the workers, the dreamers, side by side. In Trump's new era, let freedom rise. Changing the wind, it's coming fast. A new foundation built to last. Cryptocurrency's the key, make the big switch. Power to the people, time to ditch the rich.
Welcome, everyone, to the Crazy Cryptonaut channel. I am Zester, and thank you guys so much for joining me this Friday. I hope everyone's having an amazing end of the week. It's definitely been an eventful week, that's for certain. What is everybody thinking? How is it going, folks? Oh, howdy there, Kukla. What's up, Mile High Trish? Welcome, Linda Hearn. Howdy there, Anthony Lou. What's up, Nature Girl? Nature Girl, hi guys. Oh, sorry to hear about that one, Nature Girl. Hope you get some quality rest this evening. What's up, Captain Spiffy? Kukla, oh no, join Trish and I for a glass of wine and just relax. Kukla, you and Trish are having a wine night. I feel like other people would like to be invited. I think there's a lot of folks that are feeling left out. Crypto Friday whiskey and wisdom? I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Howdy there, Clinton Van Weld. Welcome. Welcome, Savvy. All right, though, guys. As I continue to go through and say hello to everybody, today we're going to be doing mainly a question and answer session. I do have a little bit of news. So much has gone on over the past week, and really, it's at a breakneck pace. And so I feel like it's probably more constructive to answer questions that folks in the community have, as opposed to even trying to break down and dissect the news from the week, which in all honesty, we would need like 10 hours to even possibly get a full understanding of. What are the questions? What are people seeing? What are the rumors you're seeing in Telegram chats or you're seeing on X or the like? Tonight's the night. Ask me any and all of them. I am excited for them. I'm ready to go. And I think that's going to be more constructive because I've seen a lot of things coming from all over the landscape over the past couple of days. It seems as if crypto is getting a lot of attention, but also a lot of new people are learning about crypto, and that's kind of changing the conversation. But first things first, before I jump in to any of the answering or providing any of the news, please do remember that the content in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes. and is not intended to provide financial advice. Please consult with a financial professional before making investment decisions. Thank you, Google, so much for ensuring I get that one in. It is quite important. All right, though, here we go. Let's start with it. Clinton Van Well. Zester, is XRP about to get out of the SEC for good? And what is XRP's connection to Fed now? Well, Clinton, in all honesty, that's probably the perfect question, and also the question that essentially the answer will take up the full hour. And so Clinton is very, very important. Very, very, very important. What's currently going on is something that there's a debate to be had about. The reason I say that, and I talked to a lot of people at the Quantum Summit over this past weekend, because at that point in time, XRP or Ripple Labs, the company that's behind XRP. And so I think on this conversation, I need to be fairly concise or fairly exact with the different denominations. Ripple Labs owns and operates the XRP ledger. The XRP ledger contains XRP, RLUSD, other projects that are coming on board. The Ripple Labs team is signaling that they are choosing to fight the SEC in regards to the case. Now, XRP is right. Ripple Labs, they are right. They will win the case eventually. Now, what every analyst in the cryptocurrency space had always said is that what XRP or Ripple Labs, the company, would do is they would just pay the settlement. And they just wouldn't fight. They would just pay it. And that's what we all bet on. Essentially, we all bet on the fact that they were just going to pay it. And the reason that every analyst and most investors bet on that is because it ends it. Essentially, the company has done nothing wrong, but it would be easier to just go ahead, give them the money, and say, SEC, leave us alone. What we've been seeing over the week is a lot of back and forth on where that's going. And so there's a little bit of a debate to be gotten into there now. XRP is absolutely providing intel and assistance in regards to FedNow. They were reported to do that a couple of years back now, in terms of consulting and assisting the Federal Reserve in terms of a central bank digital currency or just a overall blockchain policy. And so in that regard, XRP is working with, or was working with, the Federal Reserve on that. Are they still? We are not currently aware of that. But XRP is kind of playing with fire. What Ripple Labs are saying is that they will win the case, which they were always going to win the case, but that they're willing to essentially stay trapped in the legal system for a little while before they go ahead and just pay. Now, this is one where I would be kind of interested to hear where everybody's opinions are. Do you think that Ripple Labs should just pay the SEC and be done with it? Or do you think that Ripple Labs should continue to fight in the legal system, in the courts, in regards to the fact that they never did anything wrong? I'd be very interested to hear the opinions on that one because there's a few different ways to kind of look at it. Oh, yes. For those that were curious, this morning there was a lot of issues. And so, Bud Chamberlain, what happened to Mark and Mr. C this morning? There were a lot of different issues that were ongoing at that point in time. Also, the original Mark Z channel got a strike. Compliments of sharing well, perfectly reputable scientific evidence. And so that's just more a matter of the norm in terms of Google and Alphabet. Google Zester, do you drink wine? You can hang with us, ladies. I'm not a big wine drinker. It really doesn't do anything for me. But I always enjoy sitting around and having a beer. And hey, if you're having a wine, I'm having a beer. It's all the same thing. All right. Looking for more questions there, folks. What else are folks thinking about at this point in time? What are you worried about? Hey, Jeff. Hey there, Mr. Z. Do you or someone you know do blockchain forensics? Jeff, actually, I do blockchain forensics. And so I'd be happy to help you on that one, Jeff. Just keep in mind, this is something that I have learned countless times, and I know I've shared this story before. But Jeff, if you're not aware, I'll share the story again. A couple years back, I tracked down a company, Decentraworld, back to the person that had actually rug pulled. They rug pulled millions of dollars. I found the person's passport. I found their home address. I got their photos. I got every degree of proof. And I went to the FBI and to Interpol and also to the cryptocurrency exchanges. And I was told by all of them that it was not large enough. It was not a large enough theft or crime to be of any concern. And so what I would warn you about right off the bat, Jeff, is that essentially we continue to live in a world where our governments are unwilling to actually enforce the law. It's not a matter of whether the blockchain works. The blockchain works. I can find that person. What I cannot do is make a guy with a badge show up and knock on their door. And so, Jeff, if you have any more information on that one, I'd be happy to point you in the right directions. I just would warn you right from the start that essentially it really depends on the situation whether I can be helpful or not. When it comes down to like the story that I shared in terms of Decentraworld, I can literally give you the guy's address in Serbia and in Slovakia. The guy's there, or he's at literally one of the two houses. But I cannot make them go get your money. And so if it is a matter of crypto forensics or blockchain forensics based off of a crime that was perpetuated against you, if they're American, something probably will happen. If they're not, I can do my best. Essentially, that's what I can promise, Jeff. I can do my best, and I can probably find you the person. All right. Yes, Smile Eye Trish. Mark mentioned an article on his show yesterday that you thought you might go over, something about government and crypto. As a matter of fact, let's actually jump over and look at that article right away, because it is a very, very interesting one. And it's something that I've been talking about for a long time, but, well, it's always nice to kind of get that reinforcement. And so in particular, what Trish is talking about is the Senate Banking Committee advances the Genius. Genius is just an acronym, stablecoin bill, despite banking pushback. And so this is something that we've talked about a few different times. It's the degree in which cryptocurrency takes away power from the banking and financial institutions, from your government, from essentially any third party. It takes away a massive amount of their power. And that's the reason that the banks are pushing back against the stablecoin bill. And so the Genius stablecoin bill is designed to create an infrastructure, an ecosystem in the United States and globally where I do not need a bank. The bank is not validating my dollars. My dollars are validated by the blockchain. And so, why are banks freaking out about this? Banks are freaking out about this because if any company or I or anyone else said, hey, I will provide you a payment processor in regards to your business that operates with stablecoins, I can offer you fees and transaction times that are far less than your typical credit card or anything of that nature. And so think about it. When you swipe your card at a restaurant, ultimately either you or the restaurant, normally both of you, end up eating about a 3% charge. That's what the credit card companies charge for it. And so with this shift that Trump is supporting and this genius bill on stablecoins, that would take away that entire revenue stream for the banking sector because it's always been a scam. Ultimately, I would go on and I would say, hey, I would like to buy your product. Say I go to Freedom Forged and I'm buying some of the mushroom tinctures for my coffee. I would go on to Freedom Forged and I would say, hey, here's my stable coin. Here's $50 of stable coin. And I would not pay any fee. And neither would the people that receive it. And so in that way, this completely destroys the vast majority of the banking sector's revenue streams. They no longer are capable of scamming us. Now, to take this out to a little bit more of a grander scale, think about when you get your paycheck on Friday or any check that you receive in the mail, whether it's Social Security or anything of that nature, unless it's a direct deposit, which even then, direct deposits have delays and fees. But if I get my paycheck on Friday and I deposit it in the bank and I say, hey, it's my money. I'd like to pay my bills. I'd like to eat I'd like to eat come Monday. And I deposit that check. In the previous system, the bank was capable of leveraging your money from Friday to Monday in order to earn interest. And that's how things have been going on for the past 40, 50 years or so. Whenever the bank received your money, what they did with it is they immediately lent it out in order to get a return on it. And they told you that your money was always sitting there. Your money was always available. But ultimately, it really wasn't. And this bill that Trump is supporting actually completely gets rid of that. It allows for anybody to operate back and forth in the banking system without paying the banks. And that's why the banks are freaking out. It's because they no longer will get paid because you need to use their service. This is a monumental shift in terms of the way that the financial system works, especially for your average everyday person. For those that had millions and millions and millions of dollars already, the fees, the fines, the everything else really weren't that important. But for your average everyday person, this stablecoin bill is extremely important because it's the difference between you having immediate access to your money, the money you worked for that you earned, and also your ability to protect the money that you earn. Because it destroys every idea around the fees, fines, and restrictions that banks or financial institutions are currently capable of imposing upon you. And that's why it's so important, and also why it's creating such a stink in the banking world, is because this would end up being absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Now, we've seen pushback from a multitude of different sides, mainly everybody's favorite Pocahontas is particularly unhappy with the bill because it takes away government control. The government and the banking institutions that finance and fund her campaigns would no longer be making money off of your everyday transactions. It's a huge win, in my opinion, a huge win. All right. Scrolling back through and getting back to some questions and saying a few more hellos. What's up, Doc? How are you doing? Welcome there, Radagast. Yeah, no, Jeff, thank you so much for answering. I had hit for quite a bit of XRP. No, watch out for those things. Jeff, remember, not your keys, not your crypto, and do not believe anyone online, which I know I'm online and I'm talking to you. And I'm saying do not believe anyone online, which seems counterintuitive to the entire exercise. But ultimately, it is true. Do not believe anyone that is giving you any degree of anything in terms of information online without doing your own research. I can be wrong. It's very, very possible. It's happened more than a few times throughout my life. But on things of this nature, I'm very, very confident in the certainty of my statements. However, please remember, do not trust people online. And that is probably one of the most important tenets of the entire crypto space and really of the modern world is do not trust people online, especially in the crypto space. Not yet. It's going to happen very soon where you are perfectly safe, but that day has not occurred yet. Jeff, I do have an email link actually down in the description. It is crazycryptonaut. You'll see it down there in the description of the video, Jeff, on YouTube. The ability to message me. You'll also notice that I have a new link down there for BioSocks for well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what the company sells, but needless to say, it's extremely beneficial in many different ways. And so you can check that one out also while you're down there. Captain Ice Baby, we've got a world to save. Is Zester getting his emails from SQX in the header? Hello. Is this internet on today? What a weird week, guys. Everything coming up, Captain Spiffy. Well, Captain Spiffy, absolutely. We are looking at an insane world at this point in time. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but it definitely leaves your head spinning on a regular basis. But no, I do get those emails. I am just so far behind that people are getting responses, well, somewhat delayed. I have to break things down and I have to go through a matter of what I can fix and what I can help with and what I can't help with. And so, yes, you can absolutely send along there. Clinton Van Weld, Zester, did you notice the digital banks have started increasing their percentage of return, now getting close to 4% on savings accounts, looking for new clients? No, Clinton, the move towards the blockchain is going to massively change the degree to which we are rewarded for providing liquidity. And this is an important one, and I'm going to go on a little bit of probably a tirade on this. But what you have been doing for the past your entire life, every time you deposited your money into a bank, what you did is you provided liquidity. What is liquidity? Liquidity is the source or pool of funds that facilitate trade and interaction and exchange. You were the ones doing that. And that is where you were getting your return. When they said at the bank, hey, we're going to give you 1% on your checking account for any and all the money that's there each month. We're going to give you 3% on your savings account. What you were doing is you were providing liquidity. You were staking your fiat. In the crypto world, we call it staking because in the crypto world, we make it voluntary. In the traditional financial world, it was not voluntary. It was forced upon you. You put your money in a bank, the bank lent your money out, the bank made a return off of your money, and then the bank gave you a peasant's portion of what you earned. That's how it always has worked. That's how you have made money, by keeping money in the bank for your entire life. That is where that money came from. That money was because they took yours and they gave it to somebody else and they told that other person, you got to pay me back more. That's been it the entire time. And so what this move towards the blockchain means, Clinton, is that now you will be receiving the full percentage of what you should have been earning the entire time. Because you are not changing what you're doing. You provided liquidity every time you cashed your paycheck. Every Friday, you provided liquidity to the bank. The bank lent that money out, they made money off of it, and they gave you a pittance. The same thing is what essentially is occurring in staking. If I have crypto and I choose to stake it, I am providing my crypto in order to facilitate transactions. I am providing liquidity. It's the exact same thing. The only difference is it suddenly became voluntary. And that is huge. Because now I get to choose, you get to choose, everyone gets to choose whether we actually want to provide liquidity and we actually want that return on our money. And because of that shift that is ongoing, banks are panicking because I can get 10% off of my stablecoin on multiple different platforms. Why would I keep my money at Wells Fargo if Wells Fargo is paying me 3.5%, but I could get 10% over here with the same degree of security? Well, I would never take it. It's a bad deal. And so banks are going to constantly try to increase it because what they want you to do is they want you to place your crypto, your wealth, in their custody. And so they're going to start jacking these numbers up. And they're going to say, okay, Zester can get 10% on his own, but he has to do all the work. Or Zester could give Wells Fargo, for example, the money. And Wells Fargo will give Zester 8% or 7% or 6%, and they'll keep the rest, but they'll deal with all. And so they're appealing to the average laziness, essentially, of the modern American. Modern investor, really, is beyond, it's above and beyond just our country. But they're appealing to the laziness that we've all kind of embodied in regards to our financial situations. And that's the reason you're seeing these increases, Clinton, on the banking side. Banks are going to continue to increase these numbers. These numbers are not going to stop increasing. 4% is nothing. They're going to get up to 8, 9, 10% in the coming couple of years on what a bank account is willing to offer you, because short-term loans, and that's what the banks were doing all the time with your money. They were providing short-term loans. Interest on short-term loans can get up to 20% for 24 hours, depending upon the market. And that's what they were providing. The banks were making crazy money with your paycheck. You would go and you get a $2,000 paycheck on Friday. They were taking that money, and in 3 days, they were making a couple $100 off of your $2,000 paycheck. And then they were giving you back the $2,000 and saying, thanks, buddy. We just pocketed 300 in 3 days because of short-term interest loan rates. And so that's why this is so important, Clinton. And that's why these numbers are going to keep going up. Banks are going to bribe you to keep money inside of them. What's up, Amanda? Amanda Woodward says, hi, Zester. What's good with you? Oh, everything is doing particularly well, Amanda. How are you? Radagast Green Big Spear says that XRP is violating Reggie Middleton's patent and would not be able to be a viable coin without a license, a lawsuit, or a large payment. What do you think? Radagast, I'll actually have to look into that one. In particular, exactly what Big Spear is pointing at in terms of the violation of the patent. So, Radagast, I wish I could go further into it right off the bat, but I would be stepping into waters I do not know enough about in terms of information. So I will look that one up, Radagast, and see what I can find out about what specifically Big Spear is saying that XRP is violating. Texas Farmer, could you explain staking, please? Is it risky or worth it? Well, I think Texas Farmer, I probably kind of explained everything about staking in my last little podium moment. But it's effectively you are providing a financial service. That financial service could be loans, it could be liquidity, it could be a variety of different things. But ultimately, you are taking your crypto and you are doing what banks previously did. Because that's what banks were doing with your money. They were taking your money and they were doing things with it. And you were under the assumption that your money would be sitting there in the bank when you needed it, which it never really was. Your money left the second you deposited it. The second you deposit money into a bank, that money is no longer yours. It is not yours. It is the bank's. And I know that I sound like a crazy person to many when I say things like that, but ultimately it is true. Not your keys, not your crypto is a statement that is very often parroted in the blockchain space, and it has always been true. It has always been true. Ultimately, when you have given your money to a bank, you have given away your control over your finances. Same idea when you keep your crypto on a centralized exchange. You have given away the right to control your finances. You have said, hey, I am just an average person. You are the company. You are better off handling it. And they have taken advantage of that for thousands of years. When it comes down to it, the banking sector has taken advantage of that for thousands of years. We can look at the paper notes of the early Roman Empire that allowed you to transact back and forth between the Venetian banks. It was nothing more than that. People gave up their right to actual ownership of their finances. Please always keep that in mind. And that's the reason that staking is so profitable. It's because it's always been that profitable. The banks have been doing it the entire time. The only difference is you're suddenly getting access to do it. Something that we never were allowed to do in the past. That's what crypto provides. Welcome there, Cheryl and LG Lady. LG Lady. Zester, can a ledger wallet hold multiple things at the same time? Documents, question mark. Well, LG Lady, your ledger or any hardware wallet through the ledger company is capable of holding all your crypto. You can have XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, XDC, XLM, everything on the exact same hardware device. But it's very important for everyone to remember that your crypto is not on the device. Your crypto is on the blockchain. You are the only ones through that ledger that have actual access to interact with your cryptocurrency. And so, LG Lady, you can store $1 trillion of crypto on one ledger. And it could be in XRP, XLM, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin. It can be all of those all at the same time. It's all on the same device, but ultimately, everything that's on that device is really just your keys to the different bank vaults. And so you can imagine each of those as being separate. I have a Shiba vault. Well, my ledger is the key to the Shiba vault. I have an XRP vault. Well, the ledger is my key to the XRP vault. No one else has the key. Only you do. And that's very, very important to remember whenever you're thinking about it, because many folks tend to get worried about overfilling their hardware wallet or something like that. You can't overfill it. Essentially, it's impossible. I can have $1 on a ledger, or I can have $1 quadrillion on a ledger. It takes up the same amount of space. All right. All right. See some awesome comments. Clinton, thank you, Zester. I hope you will step in your dash and run with us on the crypto side. You rock. No, always happy to do it. Always happy to do it, man. Kim, hi, Zester. What do you think of a Tangem wallet? Tangem wallet is one that has been brought up many, many times. And I would say that I need to do more research. I absolutely do need to do more research on the Tangem wallet. But Kim, where I really sit at, and maybe this is more a matter of my general mentality, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so my recommendation, Kim, would be don't bother with worrying about other wallets when we already have good wallets. I'm trying to think of another way of kind of breaking it down. It's like, okay, yes, I very often hear questions from people in the community about a variety of different wallets. And that's cool. I'm glad there's competition in the space. We need different wallets providing different services. That's a good thing. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so my recommendation, Kim, would be to stick to the tried and trues. Stick to the wallets that have the longest track record, that have been utilizing best practices in terms of security and confidentiality, and avoid going towards the new ones. And so, Kim, I will do more research on Tangem. I know folks have asked about Tangem a lot of times. I've looked into it. I did not find anything that was interesting. To me, it's a flavor. It's which logo do you want to click on when you're using your phone? It is really where it kind of came down to. And so I'm certain there's nothing wrong with it, Kim. In all honesty, there's probably zero things wrong with Tangem. But I am not going to go gambling on a new interface, a new software, a new wallet, a new program if I don't need to. And so I would highly recommend to absolutely everyone that if you are running a wallet on your phone, I recommend MetaMask. If you are running a hot wallet, it's AKA you don't want to spend money, you just want a wallet that works on your phone and your computer, use MetaMask. They're the oldest. It was invented by a group of guys at MIT. It is a pretty much flawless platform. Not that user friendly, but extremely well designed. If you are going to be using a hardware wallet, I recommend the Ledger. The reason I recommend the Ledger is because it is the most common device out there, and the technology absolutely faces up to the scrutiny in regards to how secure it is. It's a QSIC encrypted chip that is inside of every single Ledger hardware device. It's a very important distinction. It is essentially impossible to possibly break it. And so other devices use the same chips. They are just as unbreakable. But why would I play the back and forth game when I already know a guaranteed answer? I guess it's that bird in the hand versus two in the bush type situation. Kim, I tend to just always lean towards my tried and trues. And I tend to do that, maybe to an extreme degree, but I will look in a little bit more to Tangum. My recommendation would be that most likely it's perfectly safe, but ultimately you need to take personal ownership of your crypto and your finances. And in that regard, I would highly recommend a Ledger hardware wallet. That way you own your crypto. If your crypto is on anything other than a wallet that only you have access to, it is not your crypto. Terry Sachetti. Can you direct me to a definitive video that will guide me to retrieve my crypto from Coinbase to my Ledger S, please? Terry, I do have a video on the channel, but I do not have it sitting here readily accessible. But I know that there is a video from my early days in terms of beginning on YouTube that is an exact and a comprehensive breakdown of moving from Coinbase to a Ledger Nano S Plus. But beyond that, Terry, I would have to point towards the Ledger YouTube channel. So either you can go back to my videos on the Crazy Cryptonaut channel on YouTube. If you go to live, they will be some of the oldest videos. I think you can actually use the search function to go back to Coinbase tutorial, is what I believe I named it about 1.5 years ago. But there is a Coinbase tutorial that is there that will show you exactly how to do that, Terry, because I know I was moving crypto from Coinbase to a Ledger Nano S, and I was setting up all the wallets while I live streamed it. So I know I have one. If not, Terry, I would highly recommend checking out the Ledger official YouTube channel. They have a few tutorials there that will probably get you pointed in the right direction if you can't find my video on that one. But I will look for it, Terry, as soon as I'm not live. I'll go digging through and see if I can't track it down. Terry Ferraro, Coinbase, Breach Crypto, can we set buying low and selling high? Terry, what you can do is I would actually, in this regard, because I see your next question, and for everyone out there, Tina would really, really like to say hello at the moment. She's very, very excitable. But Terry, what you're asking about specifically is a limit order. And so a limit order can be placed on a centralized exchange. And so in this regard, if you would like to set pre-guaranteed price points that you will either buy at or sell at, you are most likely better off staying on a centralized exchange. And this is one of those nuances because it's more of an active trading stance. It's more of an active trading strategy. You're planning on actually setting out the exact price point that you plan on buying or you plan on selling. If you're going to do that, I would highly recommend just use Coinbase. Stay on, okay, Tina, it's third time's the charm. I know. I very much appreciate you too. But I would highly recommend staying on Coinbase in that situation, Terry. You can then utilize limit orders and stop orders. And so a limit order allows you to set a specific price point that you would like to either buy or sell at. You can set those on centralized exchanges. If you have it in your ledger, it's going to be way harder to do that because you don't have immediate access to the liquidity that the centralized exchange provides. And so in that situation, Terry, I would stay on Coinbase. Remember also, there is another order type on markets, and that is a stop order. And so you can also set stop orders on Coinbase. And that means, say I bought XRP at, I don't know, $3. And what I said is, if the price of XRP drops to $2, I'd like to sell in order to protect my money, protect my capital. That would be a stop order. And those can be set through Coinbase. And those are specifically designed for cryptos you already own or assets you already own. And so, yes, Terry, Coinbase would be the go-to. I probably still have limit orders out there set at different price points. I probably do. What's up, Star Wars Guy 94? How are you doing, man? Welcome. Star Wars Guy, I used to have a Discord. It's still sitting back there. But unfortunately, there were a lot of people trying to target the Discord, trying to mess with people. And so I'm debating the idea of bringing it back. I'm debating it. That's something to consider going into the future. But all right, guys, I think I have fully managed to get through all the questions, at least what I'm seeing at this point in the chat. And so thank you guys so much for joining. I will be back again Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, answering questions once again here on YouTube. And hopefully Rumble again. Rumble has been really messing with my channel for some reason. Not because they're trying to silence me. I think entirely because they just have a little bit of an issue going on in terms of the technology. And so I will be back again on Monday. And then, of course, Wednesday, Friday, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. And so looking forward to seeing everyone again in just a couple of days. Love you all. Have an amazing weekend. Enjoy your Friday. And please do not spend your days staring at the cryptocurrency markets and their charts. Ultimately, all it will do is drive you nuts and make you more worried about your investments. Just buy things that have fundamental value. And if you do that, then you can sleep easy at night. And that'll be my final bit of advice going into the weekend. Love you all. Talk to you very soon.